back. Welcome to my preview and predictions for the opening day of Matchday 10, the final match day of the European qualifiers for the World Cup. For some teams, this is going to be a celebration match. For some teams, it's going to be a reflection for where it all went wrong. But for some teams, today's matches, or should I say tomorrow's matches, are going to be all or nothing, and it's going to be a massive, massive day. And what we're going to do is on every single group, we're going to sort of cover the game that matters the least first, and then go to the game that really matters. So, as always, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you enjoy all of these prediction series. Quick reminder, if you want to see my predictions for today's matches, the final day of match 9, you can do so by clicking the link available at the top of your screen right now. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here with notifications turned on. We've been doing daily predictions for these international breaks like we always do, and that of course means that tomorrow morning we'll be covering Monday's matches in Matchday 10, and then on Monday morning we'll be covering Tuesday's matches for Matchday 10, so make sure you are subscribed with those notifications turned on. And if you want to gain access to even more previews and predictions when club football returns next weekend, hit the join button and become a member of the channel. We cover all 5 major European leagues for members only, so make sure you're hitting that join button if you want to gain access to even more from me. As for today's video then, these are the groups that are going to be playing tomorrow. It's the groups that played on Thursday night, D, F, I and K. And without any further ado, let's get into it. Starting off alphabetically, as always, with Group D. And Group D stands like this. France already top of the group. There is nothing that can happen for them. They are guaranteed a spot at the World Cup. Azerbaijan already out on just 1 point. But Iceland and Ukraine are going head-to-head, both sides on 7 points going into that one. So we're going to get to that one shortly. But let's quickly start with Azerbaijan and France, where we really shouldn't need to spend too long on this one. It's the bottom side in the group versus the top side in the group. It's world 123 versus world number 3. So everyone expects France to win this game. They obviously won the reverse fixture earlier on 3-0 as well. In terms of the team news coming into this, we've got Akhmetadze, who is suspended for Azerbaijan. We have no fresh concerns for the French side coming out of their victory over Ukraine on Thursday night. However, it is expected that Didier Deschamps will rotate his side now that that top spot has been finally confirmed. And they did even play a reserve side when they met Azerbaijan a few weeks ago as well, when they won 3-0 back at home. So I think we're going to see a slightly different team from a French perspective. Eduardo Camavinga has gone home, having not played in the first leg, and he's going to be out of this one as well. To Azerbaijan's credit, their only point in this competition has come in their home match against Ukraine. Could have been a costly point for Ukraine come the end of tomorrow night. But it does maybe give them the slimmest of chances of getting a result against a French reserve side. But ultimately, I've obviously got to go for a French victory here. Let's start today's video with a 3-0 win to France. The same scoreline it was in Paris a couple of months ago. And then we move on to the first of our major matches taking place tomorrow. Ukraine taking on Iceland, where it is advantage Iceland, certainly in regards to the table, if nothing else. A draw in this match will guarantee them progression to the World Cup, or should I say progression to the playoffs of the World Cup, because the goal difference is how this is decided. And again, I apologise for thinking it was head-to-head. If it was head-to-head, this would be advantage Ukraine, because in the reverse fixture, it was Ukraine that came out on top. More on that game shortly. What is really critical to note coming into this one, and it is slightly different for other sides going into Matchday 10, neither Iceland nor Ukraine have secured a playoff spot from the Nations League. So this game is their only opportunity to get a playoff spot for the World Cup. So it really is all or nothing for both coming into this. As we already mentioned, a draw for Iceland would be enough for them, whereas for Ukraine, they simply have to win. However, we will now talk about that game that took place last month. It was played in Iceland, and Ukraine won it by the staggering scoreline of 5-3. Now, if we can get another game like that here, we could be in for a real treat. Ukraine grabbing 2 late goals to secure the 5-3 victory after it being 3-3 at that point in time. So for a neutral, I'm just hoping that we're going to get something similar here. In terms of the team news, both sides actually managed to make it through Thursday night without picking up a single additional injury nor picking up any suspensions. So we're just as we were for both sides coming into this one. What Ukraine rather cleverly did is they actually rested a couple of their main first team players who were on yellow cards, probably assuming that they were going to lose to France regardless, and putting all their eggs in this basket, trying to get the victory over Iceland coming into this one. In my opinion, I do think Ukraine should be considered the favourites. They have been on a fairly decent run recently, and of course they've already got that victory over Iceland previously. However, momentum is a big thing in football, and Iceland are coming in off the back of their draw with France and their victory last time out, so who knows? I don't personally think it's going to be as crazy as the 5-3 we got last month. I instead think it's going to be a very, very cagey affair. The classic case of the first goal could mean everything. I'm going to stick with my gut instinct, which is that Ukraine are going to edge it out. And I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Ukraine. On to Group F now then, which is even more dramatic than Group D. And I did warn you that this group was far from over, but I did still back Portugal to get the result against Ireland. However, a Ronaldo red card and 2 goals from Troy Parrott means that this group currently stands on Portugal at 10, Hungary at 8, Ireland on 7, and there are still possibilities for any of those 3 sides to end this group in top spot. That is how dramatic it is. However, we are going to go through this on the lens that Portugal do have obviously the key position. They are in first place and they are playing against the bottom side in Armenia. So that is the game that we're going to be covering first. Then we'll focus on the real big game between Hungary and Ireland second. So in regard to that Portugal game, it should be noted that obviously they have failed to win either of their last 2 matches, drawing at home to Hungary before then losing away to Republic of Ireland the other night. Whereas for Armenia, it's just not really been a great run of form for them. They've lost their last 3 competitive matches. They lost at home to Hungary on Thursday night. But when you consider that in the reverse fixture, Armenia have already lost 5-0 to Portugal, this really shouldn't be any difficulty for the Portuguese side to come out on top. Obviously, there is some big team news from a Portugal perspective because Cristiano Ronaldo will be suspended for this match following his elbow in the match against Ireland. Be interested to know if that ban is extended into the start of the World Cup because it is a violent conduct act, so normally that would carry a 3-game ban. Let me know down in the comments if Ronaldo should miss the first couple of games for Portugal, should they end up qualifying from this position. In terms of Armenia, they're going to be coming into this with no fresh concerns coming out of Thursday night, so it's going to be as you were for them. Realistically, there really shouldn't be any other result other than a Portugal win here. Yes, there'll be a couple of changes to their starting lineup, but it really shouldn't affect how easily they should be winning this fixture. Who knows though, with the pressure on and with back-to-back poor performances, you just never know in football. But I'm going to go for a strong Portugal victory, and I'm going to go for 4-0 to Portugal, which then takes us to Hungary for the big match in this group, as it is Hungary taking on Ireland. And it has to be said that there is a massive advantage for Hungary coming into this fixture. Firstly, they are ahead in the group on 8 points, Ireland on 7, so a draw would be enough for Hungary to progress. Secondly, they are the home side, which obviously comes with its own advantages. You can do whatever you want with the pitch, etc., etc., more fans in the ground, all that jazz. But also, the other advantage they've got is that in the reverse fixture, they did draw away to Ireland. So given the fact that they know that a draw would be enough again here, you would have to fancy that Hungary are going to be the side to be massively favoured to end up getting that playoff spot from this position. But who knows? If they go for the victory in the hope that Armenia get a result against Portugal, it's not out of the question that Hungary still could get the automatic qualification spot here. But I think their priority is going to be making sure that Ireland don't get any joy in this fixture. As far as I could tell, there were no fresh injury or suspension concerns for either side coming out of the games on Thursday night. From an Irish perspective, someone did point out in the comments of my previous video that I never mentioned that Evan Ferguson was an injury doubt for them. Well, Troy Parrott stepped up and you know the rest. So there's probably some Ireland fans out there now who are probably thinking maybe we should have been playing Troy Parrott a little bit more often anyway. I know he was injured in the previous international break, so who knows? Maybe he would have started more games if he was fit and available. Again, it's the same old cliche I mentioned from the Ukraine game. I think the first goal in this match could be absolutely everything. But It also depends how these sides approach it. Will Hungary go for the attacking approach and try to win the match? Will Ireland try and go early and try and get ahead and then hold on? Or will they sit back and look to pinch their moment like they kind of did against Portugal on Thursday night? There are so many different tactical decisions that could really play this game out that, in my opinion, I don't think there is a clear favourite for this match. If I had to pick a winner, I would go for Hungary for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. But with so much on the line and with how well Ireland played against Portugal, I think they're going to get something from this match. However, I'm not convinced it's going to be enough to give them the win they need to get into that playoff spot. I am going to go for a 1-1 draw. But watch this space. I think we could see a lot of drama in this one. And I do think we could see someone nick it one way or another late on in the match. From Group F, we now move on to Group I, where realistically this group is over, but it's not entirely over. There is still some slimmer of a something to play for Italy when they go up against Norway in our second game to talk about in this one. For our first game, though, it is already over, with Israel guaranteed to finish third and Moldova with basically no chance of finishing in fourth unless they can score 11 goals against Israel in this fixture. That being said, though, this is the most fascinating fixture I think I've ever covered in the history of doing these predictions on YouTube. Israel are the home side that are hosting Moldova here. However, the game is being played at Moldova's home ground. So I don't really know how this is going to work. Are Israel going to be in the home dressing room and Moldova in the away dressing room? Are the Moldova fans only going to be allowed to sit in the away end? Are Israel allowed to change the dimensions of the pitch to suit how they want to play? Let me know down in the comment section below. I've never seen a situation like this other than like a AC Milan, Inter Milan scenario where they actually share the ground. This is literally Israel playing their home match in the Moldova home stadium. Obviously, on a more serious note, it's due to the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East, which obviously we don't want to see. But from a footballing perspective, it is a fascinating scenario, so I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. What I can tell you is how this played out when these sides met on this ground literally 2 months ago on September the 5th. Israel coming out 4-0 winners on that day. But to be fair, at that point in time, they were still in the hunt for a minimum playoff spot, whereas now, obviously, those chances have gone straight out the window with 3 consecutive defeats. In terms of the team news coming into this, for the home side, Manor Solomon is going to be out for Israel. For the other home side, I guess for Moldova, Rekjup is out with a knock. He went off against injury and is a doubt for them. Went off against Italy, not off against injury. He got an injury against Italy and is going to be out for this one. Realistically, once again, this should be an Israel victory. But with Moldova holding their own against Italy until the 88th minute on Thursday night, you just don't know. Technically, they kind of are still the home team for this match. So they're going to have the same sort of setup ready to go for this one. I don't think it's going to be severe as the victory from a couple of months ago, with Israel not necessarily needing the victory anymore. I'm just going to go for a 2-0 win to Israel, which then means the other game in the group goes as follows. For Italy, the task is simple. Win by a minimum of 9 goals. For Norway, the task is even simpler. Lose by no more than 8. You can, well, yeah, obviously still win or draw, but if they lose by any less than 9 goals, Norway will automatically qualify for the World Cup. Again, this is done on goal difference, not on the head-to-head record, as I said the other day. But even if it was down to a head-to-head record, the advantage would massively be in Norway's favour anyway, as they beat Italy all the way back on Matchday 3, which was Italy's first match of the group. Obviously, since then, Italy have gone on to win every game, scoring 20 goals in the process. Norway, though, in their other 6 matches, have also won every single game and have scored 30 goals in those 6 matches. So Norway have been absolutely incredible. Both sides, to be fair, have been brilliant so far in this competition. So I'm just hoping we're in for a really entertaining game here. In terms of the team news coming into this one, no fresh injury concerns from Norway coming out of it. No suspensions either. For Italy, they actually played a massive reserve lineup for their game against Moldova on Thursday night. That almost massively backfired. But as we said, they got their last-minute winner against Moldova to end up winning that one there. The only real prediction I think I can give this one is that there's going to be goals for both sides. Let's not forget that Italy have already had a 5-4 in this competition. Let's not forget Norway have already had an 11-1 in this competition. If Italy actually go for it, because, I mean, they might as well go for it, right? We could be in for a really, really entertaining game here with goals flying in left, right and centre. Like I say, Italy have to win by 9 or more. So if they're going for it, they've really got to go for it. I don't think it's going to happen. If I had to pick a favourite, I am still going to go for Italy. But Norway have been outstanding. I'm just going to go for 3-2 to Italy. But honestly, I just think anything can happen in this match. It could be absolute chaos. And then last, but sadly least, we have Group K, where this group is absolutely and utterly entirely over. England are guaranteed first, Albania are guaranteed second, Serbia are guaranteed third, Latvia are guaranteed fourth, and Andorra are guaranteed fifth. There is literally nothing to play for in these final two matches, so we'll just get through them as quickly as possible. With Albania's victory over Andorra, helped by England's victory over Serbia, Albania have guaranteed themselves that playoff spot. For England, it's another victory, another clean sheet, and a 100% record going into this final match. When these sides met back at Wembley all the way back in March, it was a 2-0 victory for England, and you would obviously expect England to be the favourites coming into this one again. In terms of the team news, no fresh injury or suspension concerns for either side out of their respective matches on Thursday, although I know it is expected that Thomas Tuchel is going to make a lot of changes for England. Most likely we're going to see the likes of Bellingham, Foden and Eze all starting after impressing off the bench against Serbia the other night. England will 100% be looking to wrap up this group in style. They will want their 100% record and they will want 8 clean sheets out of 8. And to be honest, I don't really fancy Albania's attack against England's defence. If they go a little bit too rogue in the lineup, maybe Albania have a chance here, but I do thoroughly expect England to come out on top. I don't expect it to be a very entertaining game with, again, not much to play for the England players other than a potential chance to impress the manager ahead of the World Cup. I'm just going to go for the same scoreline it was at Wembley, and I'm going to go for 2-0 to England, which then finally means we have Serbia taking on Latvia, where after losing to England, Serbia cannot get anything from this World Cup whatsoever. They did not finish top of their Nations League group, and they cannot catch Albania here. So whatever happens in this match, Serbia are 100% out of the World Cup. The only positive they can take coming into this match is they're playing a Latvia side who also have nothing to play for, having already guaranteed finishing in 4th place and having already lost to Serbia at home 1-0 in the reverse fixture. So maybe Serbia come out on top in this final match. In terms of the team news, there is an injury for Serbia. It looked like quite a nasty one as well for Ilic. I was at Wembley and I sort of saw this happen. He really twisted his body around. Looks like his knee's gone. So he's almost definitely out of this game, but could be out for a hell of a lot longer. For Latvia, it's the moment you've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. It's the moment where I try and say multiple people's names that have been suspended from countries where the names are incredibly hard to pronounce. So here we go. Firstly, the Latvian captain, Chernomordikes, is suspended, as well as left-back Ciganiks. They are both suspended for Latvia. So there you go. Another butchering of players' names from me there. But those are the players that are out for you. Their captain and their left back. Realistically, this should be a Serbian win. But given the campaign they've had, there really is no guarantee coming into this one. Especially now they're going to have the deflation of knowing they are out. I'm still going to go for the Serbia victory though, and I'm just going to go for a 2-0 victory for them. That is going to be it for today's video. I'm going to pop my predictions back on the screen for you one last time, and as always say a massive thank you very much for watching. All that is left to do is let you guys know what you have been saying over on the community page for these fixtures, and you have gone for the following. The vast majority think that France are going to beat Azerbaijan, basically everyone, although 7% have gone for the Azerbaijani upset. For Ukraine and Iceland, you have agreed with me that Ukraine are going to have enough to get the job done. Basically, everyone thinks Portugal are going to beat Armenia. The vast majority, and in my opinion, unsurprisingly, but the vast majority have gone for Hungary to see off Ireland, even though I think that one could end in a draw. Vast majority have gone for Israel to beat Moldova in the most bizarre fixture in predictions history. The real close one is that Italy-Norway game where, again, there's not really anything to play for. It's just going to be an entertaining match. Majority have just edged it in favour of Italy with 43%. However, 35% do think Norway are going to get the result. Basically, everyone thinks England are going to beat Albania, and basically everyone thinks Serbia are going to beat Latvia. Remember, of course, you still have 24 hours to head over to that community page once again to have your say on all the games we'll be covering in tomorrow's video, which will, of course, be covering all the matches taking place on Monday. Link to the community page, as always, will be in the description of this video and in the pinned comment as well. All that is left to do then is to pop my predictions back up on the screen for you one last time. And as always say, a massive thank you very much for watching. I'll be back again, same time tomorrow, to do this all over again for the next round of matches in Matchday 10. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.